The bell above the door clanged once, sharp as a gunshot. Every man in the Liberty Wolves clubhouse turned at the sound. A little girl stood framed in the doorway, both hands gripping a small black pistol. Her boots didn't even reach the floorboards. Her voice shook, but it carried. "One of you is my father," she said. "My mom's dying. I have 3 days before they put me in foster care." For a long second, nobody moved. The air smelled of oil, beer, and disbelief. 20 bikers stared at her, frozen mid-conversation, mid-drink. The jukebox kept humming a slow country song that suddenly felt like a funeral. Jack Rourke, president of the Liberty Wolves, rose from his stool behind the worn bar. Broad shoulders, gray in his beard, voice steady. "Put the gun down, sweetheart," he said softly. "Nobody here's gonna hurt you." The girl's hands trembled, but her stance was solid. She'd been taught how to hold it. That detail unsettled Jack more than the barrel aimed at his chest. "Not until someone admits they're my father," she said. "My mom said he'd be here. She's never wrong." Jack took one slow step forward. "What's your name?" "Lily Harper," she replied. "My mom's Rebecca Harper. She bartended here 9 years ago." A murmur swept through the room. Every man old enough to remember that winter stiffened. Rebecca Harper, smart, beautiful, the only woman who'd ever walked away from their world clean. One night she vanished without a word. Now they knew why. Ty Carter, the club's sergeant-at-arms, leaned toward Jack. "She's serious. Look at her grip." Cole Maddox, quiet at the far table, saw it too. Finger off the trigger, elbows tucked in. Textbook safe posture. Someone had taught this kid respect for a weapon. Jack nodded once. "Lower your gun, Lily. Let's talk about your mom." "She's in North River Medical," Lily said. "She fell down some stairs, but she didn't fall. He pushed her." "Who did?" Jack asked. "Her boyfriend, Mark Dalton. He's a cop." That name landed heavy. Ty cursed under his breath. They all knew Detective Dalton, the one who shook down mechanics and covered for dirty units downtown. Lily's eyes filled. "Mom said if anything happened, come here. She said my real dad would protect me." Jack looked around the room. Cole stared at the floor. Ty scratched his jaw. Every man remembered that Christmas party 9 years ago, the one where Rebecca laughed like she belonged. There'd been beer, bad karaoke, a storm outside. Any of them could have been the father, but only one would have kept it a secret. Jack exhaled. "All right, kid, you found us. You're safe here." The girl's shoulders dropped half an inch, but she didn't let go of the gun. Outside, engines rumbled. Then sirens wailed closer. Switch Morales, the club's tech man, glanced at the monitor feed. Unmarked units, 2 of them. No lights until they hit the block. Jack's tone hardened. "Cold exit. Nobody touches a weapon. Phones off. We move quiet." He crouched in front of Lily. "Can I take that from you?" "If I put it down, they'll take me," she said. "Mom said not to trust cops." "Then trust me instead," Jack said. "You came to the Wolves. We keep our word." He reached out slowly. After a long breath, Lily placed the pistol in his palm. "Good girl," he whispered. Switch was already at work. He pulled Lily's cracked phone from her pocket, popped the back, yanked a small chip, and dropped it in a glass of beer. "Tracker disabled," he said. "They can't trace her here now." Ty handed the kid a leather jacket that dwarfed her. "Put this on. You're one of us till this is sorted." The wolves split. Half took side exits to divert any tails. Jack, Cole, Ty, and Switch guided Lily to the back lot. Engines fired one by one, low growls, coordinated. They rode in a diamond formation, Lily sandwiched safely between bikes, Jack's Harley in front. North River Medical Center. Glowed sterile under midnight lights. Inside, chaos. Mia Collins, head nurse, waved them toward a service hallway. "You've got company," she warned. "Detective Dalton's here with a transfer order. Wants to move Rebecca Harper to a private facility." "Private?" Jack repeated. "Or hidden?" Mia frowned. "Paperwork's sketchy. The signatures photocopied." They slipped into an empty waiting area. Through the glass they saw Dalton, a tall, polished cop in a pressed shirt, arguing with a doctor. His eyes were cold, confident, and when he turned, Lily flinched. Jack put a hand on her shoulder. "You stay behind me." Dalton noticed the group, smirked, and walked over. "President Rourke, didn't expect to see your crew here. Hospital's no place for criminals. And it's no place for forged transfers," Jack replied. Dalton's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Rebecca's unstable. I'm acting under her medical power of attorney." Mia crossed her arms. "Power of attorney must be notarized. This copy isn't." Dalton held her gaze. "You're obstructing a police order, Miss Collins." Jack stepped forward. "You've got 20 wolves willing to testify this man threatened a child. You sure you want that headline?" Dalton's jaw flexed. "You people think your little code means something? I have badges. You have records." Cole finally spoke, voice low. "And a conscience? You still got one of those?" Dalton ignored him. "Get the girl out of here before CPS arrives." Lily's voice was barely a whisper. He pushed her. Dalton froze, eyes narrowing. "What did you say?" Jack moved between them. "You heard her? Step back, detective." The hallway filled with tension. Mia's radio crackled, security being called to escort an armed biker group from the floor. Jack smiled thinly. "We're leaving peacefully, but if Rebecca Harper disappears, so will your career." They walked out together, slow, deliberate. Outside, Switch hacked the hospital's network from his tablet balanced on a saddlebag. "Got the fax log," he muttered. "That transfer order, sent 15 minutes after she was sedated. Timestamp mismatch. It's a fake." Jack nodded grimly. "Then tomorrow we prove it." Lily sat on the curb, hugging her knees. Cole crouched beside her. "You handled that brave," he said. "You scared?" "A little," she admitted. "But Mom said brave isn't not scared. It's doing it anyway." Cole looked away, throat tight. That exact line, he remembered saying it once, years ago, to a woman tending bar in this same town. Jack's phone buzzed, a text from Mia. Rebecca woke for 10 seconds, said one word, "Dog tag," then passed out again. Jack read it aloud. Cole's hand went instinctively to his chest where a missing half of his old dog tag used to hang. The night wind carried distant sirens again. He didn't look up. "We're running out of time," Jack said. 3 days, she said. "We'll find the truth before then." The wolves mounted up. Lily climbed behind Jack, small arms tight around his vest. The engines thundered into the dark. Inside the hospital, Dalton watched them leave through the window, his reflection merging with the glass. He pulled out his phone and made a call. "They took the kid," he said quietly. "Yeah, the wolves have her. Do it tonight." The call Dalton made at midnight wasn't just noise. By dawn, the hospital ran like a machine pointed at one goal: move Rebecca Harper out before anyone could stop it. Mia Collins stood at the nurse's station with a clipboard and a tight jaw. She watched 2 men in gray suits ride the elevator up with an empty gurney. They didn't look like transport techs. They looked like problems. Her phone buzzed. A text from Jack. "We're in the parking garage. Hold the line." She typed back, "They're here. Transfer team. Paperwork in hand." Jack answered with 3 words. "No one moves her." Mia turned, pasted on a professional smile, and walked toward the men just as they stepped off the elevator. "Morning," she said. "I'm Charge Nurse Collins. You are?" "Private transfer," the taller one replied. "Order signed and approved. Room 714. "That room belongs to Rebecca Harper," Mia said, "and she isn't being transferred today." He handed her a folder. Inside was a photocopy of a power of attorney and a typed transfer authorization. The signatures were clean. Too clean. "Originals?" Mia asked. "Those are the documents," he said. "Not for a legal transfer," Mia replied. "We need a notarized original POA on file and a physician's sign-off with a live signature. This is a copy." "Detective Dalton cleared it," he said. Mia didn't blink. "This is a hospital. We follow medical law, not hallway law." The shorter man leaned in. We can do this the easy way, or we can bring security. Mia glanced across the hall at the security desk. The guard looked nervous. Good. Bring whoever you want. My next call is to the charge administrator and our general counsel. The taller man stared at her for a long beat, then nodded at his partner. We'll wait in the lounge. They moved off. Mia exhaled, then pressed the intercom. Jack, get up here, now. The wolves came in pairs to avoid attention. Jack and Ty first, shoulders relaxed, hands empty, eyes alert. Cole and Switch 2 minutes later, carrying coffee trays like they belonged there. Lily wore an oversized hoodie with the hood up. She stayed close to Mia, quiet, watching everything. She looked small in the sterile light, but her gaze didn't waver. Jack stopped at the glass of room 714. Rebecca lay pale but stable. IV running, bruise on her temple, a faint mark across the bridge of her nose. The fall hadn't been gentle. He turned to Mia. How long do we have? Dalton's downstairs, she said. He's already pushing. He told admin he's acting under Rebecca's power of attorney. Where's the original? Jack asked. Not in our system, Mia said. He faxed a copy last night. Switch set his coffee down, opened a beat-up tablet, and connected to the hospital's Wi-Fi. If he faxed it, there's a server log. I can mirror it. Do it, Jack said. Ty scanned the corridor. 2 hospital security officers stood near the elevator, pretending not to look at them. One kept glancing at a side door marked maintenance. Ty walked over. Morning. The guard stiffened. You can't be here. I'm here to ask a question, Ty said. Off the record. No questions, the guard replied. Ty's voice stayed even. You've seen Detective Dalton around. Does he usually handle patient transfers himself? Or does he just stand in the hall and smile while other people do it? The guard shifted his weight. Don't know. Do you know he tried to move a sedated woman with a photocopy? Ty asked. Do you want your name on that? The guard looked at the floor. The silence said enough. Ty nodded once. If anyone asks, we were never here. Switch tapped keys, eyes moving fast. Okay. Fax server mirrored. Transfer authorization arrived at 1:53 a.m. POA image attached at 1:54 a.m. That's not how real files look. Also, timestamps don't match the PBX call log. Explain, Jack said. A legit POA would be logged on admission or during conscious consent, Switch said. This one came after sedation, and the server time on the fax doesn't match the switchboard's time. Someone spoofed it. Mia smiled without humor. So it's a fake. Good enough to bluff, Switch said. Not good enough to stand up to counsel. Jack looked at Lily. We're going to make this official. How? She asked. We use rules, Jack said. The ones they think we don't understand. They walked down the hall to the administrative office. Behind the counter, a woman with kind eyes and a stressed voice answered calls and typed at a blazing pace. Ms. Vega? Mia said. We need your help. I'm drowning, she muttered. If this is about 714, it is, Jack said, placing a folded paper on the counter. Letter of concern and request for legal review. Signed by Charge Nurse Collins and me as a citizen witness. We're asking for a hold on any transfer pending verification of POA and physician consent. Ms. Vega read it quickly, glanced at Lily and then at the men behind her. Detective Dalton said, Detective Dalton isn't her family, Mia said. And he isn't her doctor. Ms. Vega hesitated, then nodded and made a call. Her voice turned formal. Yes. Legal review requested. Transfer hold pending counsel. Yes, I'm aware of the detective's presence, thank you. She hung up. Counsel will review within the hour. For an hour she stays, Jack said. That's all we need. Dalton arrived with the hour. He didn't knock. He didn't need to. Attention just moved to him like it always did. President Rourke, he said, we keep meeting. Jack didn't smile. Nurse Collins says the transfer is on hold. Dalton flashed a pleasant expression that meant nothing. Briefly, legal understood the urgency once I explained the risk. Risk to whom? Mia asked. Rebecca Harper, he said. The private facility has better neurological monitoring. Then why the photocopy? Mia asked. Why not the original POA? Dalton's eyes cooled a degree. Because the original is already on file with the private facility. We called, Mia said. They've never heard of her. Dalton's jaw tensed. Ms. Collins, you are obstructing an officer in the course of his duty. Jack stepped between them. She's following the law. If you had a clean POA, you wouldn't be standing in a hallway arguing. Dalton looked past Jack, right at Lily. You again. Lily took a half step back. Cole moved with her, a quiet wall. Dalton's voice softened to a tone only the kid would hear. You're safer with the state than with criminals. State like the group home on Pecan? Jack asked, loud enough for the corridor. The one with missing bed logs and cash donations nobody can trace? Dalton's smile returned, thin and fixed. Careful. That sounds like a claim you can't prove. Give us 24 hours, Jack said. You want due process? Here it is. We'll produce a suitable family guardian approved by the court. If we can't, we'll stand down and let you do your transfer. Mia stared at Jack. It was a gamble. A big one. Dalton considered it. He believed in his position. He believed in fear. He believed they couldn't move a court in time. 24 hours, he said. After that I move her, and I take the girl. He turned to go, then paused. Oh, one more thing. If any of you sets foot in a restricted area, I will arrest you. Even you, Nurse Collins. He left with the two men in gray suits trailing behind. Lily exhaled shakily. He's going to cheat, isn't he? Yes, Jack said. So we won't. The next moves happened fast and clean. Pastor Ben Whitfield met them in the chapel, carrying a worn briefcase and the steady calm of somebody who'd lived too long to be impressed by uniforms. I filed emergency guardianship petitions before breakfast, he said. Judge Keating is on rotation. She's strict about paperwork and good about kids. For who? Cole asked. You, Pastor Ben said simply. You have standing as a community sponsor if Rebecca is incapacitated and there's credible evidence of risk. You're a veteran, you have employment, and you've been clean 9 years. We have affidavits. Mine, Mia's, 2 shop owners, and the youth center director. Cole swallowed. We don't know if I'm the father. We don't need to, Pastor Ben said. We need to show stability and safety until Rebecca can speak for herself. Lily watched Cole's face, searching. He met her eyes. I don't know how this ends, he said. I know what I can do until it does. She nodded once. Switch handed Pastor Ben a USB drive. Server logs, fax timestamps. If Dalton tries to sell the court that POA, this buries it. Good, Pastor Ben said. I like clean wins. They didn't wait. They set the hearing for that afternoon. Meanwhile, Jack wanted proof that would keep any transfer dead on arrival. Security cameras, he said. We need the stairwell. Already checked, Mia said. Stairwell cam is out. Offline last week. Maintenance? Jack asked. Mia blinked. There's a floor sensor cam across the hall for a custodial closet. It sometimes catches the stairwell door on a reflection. Switch grinned. Show me the closet. He and Ty followed Mia down a service corridor. A maintenance room buzzed with machines and old coffee smell. An ancient DVR sat in a metal rack with dust on the vents. Switch pulled the panel. This thing remembers the Reagan administration, but it's recording. Ty kept watch at the door while Switch scrubbed through midnight to 2 a.m. Grainy footage rolled past. An empty hall, a nurse pushing a cart, a janitor dragging a mop, a shadow. Back it up, Ty said. Switch rewound frame by frame. There, 1:31 a.m. The stairwell door opened just enough to show a shoulder and a hand. A woman stumbled backward into the hall, then was yanked forward out of frame. The reflection on the closet's glass caught a smear of motion. Not a face, not a body, but a sleeve and a wrist and a mark like a healed, thick scar. Switch froze the frame and zoomed until the pixels looked like blocks. Ty stared. I know that mark, Dalton? Switch asked. Ty shook his head. His guy, the private security subcontractor who works his off-duty jobs. Big shaved head, scar from a bar fight 10 years back. I broke his nose once. He never forgave me. Name, Switch said. Ty was already dialing. I'll get it. Mia stared at the screen, voice low. This is enough to trigger an internal review and pause any movement until we clear it. Switch saved the clip twice, then uploaded copies to a private cloud with redundant backups. Let Dalton light his papers on fire. We'll still have this. At noon, they walked into Department F, Family Division. No bikes, no leather vests, no noise. Pastor Ben wore a suit that had seen many funerals and a few weddings. Cole wore a clean shirt and shook hands with the clerk like he was introducing himself to a neighbor. Judge Keating listened. She read, then reread. Mia testified about the transfer timeline. Switch explained the server logs without jargon. Pastor Ben laid out the guardianship request. Temporary custody to Cole Maddox, pending Rebecca's recovery and any paternity results. Dalton's attorney argued hard. These are bikers, Your Honor. These are citizens, Pastor Ben said. A child needs protection today. Judge Keating raised a hand. Enough. She looked at Lily. Do you feel safe with Mr. Maddox? Lily sat up straight. Yes, ma'am. Do you understand this is temporary until your mother gets better and the court can hear from her? Yes, ma'am. Judge Keating nodded once. Temporary guardianship granted to Mr. Maddox. Conditions. Remain in the county. Cooperate with child services. No overnight motorcycle transport for the child. Detective Dalton, the transfer order has stayed pending legal review. Ms. Collins, thank you for your diligence. The gavel's soft tap sounded louder than it was. Outside the courtroom, Cole crouched so he and Lily were eye to eye. I'm not going anywhere, he said. I know, Lily said. Can we go see Mom now? We can, Mia said, but we have to be fast. They were halfway across the hospital parking lot when Switch's phone buzzed a warning. He stopped cold. What? Jack asked. My mirror server, Switch said. The one holding the backup footage, it just went dark. Power outage? Ty asked. Switch shook his head. No, remote wipe attempt. Jack's eyes went to Lily, then to the building. He's trying to erase the only proof. Not the only proof, Mia said, lifting her badge. We have a copy on the hospital's council drive. He can't touch that. Unless he has someone inside, Jack said. They didn't run. They walked fast. Past the volunteers, the gift shop, the line at the coffee kiosk, up the elevator, down the hall. Room 714 was where they left it. Rebecca asleep, machines steady. Lily stood at the glass for a few quiet seconds, one hand pressed flat to the window. Mom, she whispered. Mia checked the chart, signed a line, and looked at Jack. We bought time, but he won't stop. He'll look for another angle, Jack said. CPS pressure, a raid at the clubhouse. Something loud, something that makes us react. Then we don't react, Ty said. We plan. Switch's tablet buzzed again. He swore under his breath. Guys, I just found something else. The stairwell feed might be dead, but the maintenance closet, across from it, it mirrored to a backup appliance I didn't know about. A second DVR, different angle. Mia frowned. We only have one DVR. Not anymore, Switch said. Somebody added a micro recorder last month and forgot to tell IT. It's running on a battery pack. If it saw anything, it saw the stairwell door full on. Jack's voice went quiet. Where is it? Basement, Switch said. Behind the custodial cage, service corridor B. Let's go, Jack said. They didn't take the main stairs. They moved through the service lifts, past laundry bins and the smell of bleach, into a concrete hallway that hummed with old air and old secrets. Switch pointed. A small gray box sat bolted high on the wall, nearly invisible against the cinder block. A pencil lens watched the corridor like a blind eye. He stood on a crate, popped it open, and slid out a micro SD card. Please, he murmured to the card. Please, please, please. Ty kept watch. Mia checked her watch. Jack looked at Lily. You okay? He asked. She nodded. I just want the truth. Switch shoved the card into a tiny USB reader and plugged it into his tablet. A grid of timestamps appeared. He scrolled to 1:27 a.m., then hit play. A man stepped out of the stairwell dragging a woman by the arm. Her head lolled. He shoved her back through the door. The camera caught his profile clean when he turned to check the hall. Big frame, shaved head, a thick raised scar on his wrist like a twisted rope. Not Dalton, but a man who worked for him. Switch froze the frame. He and Ty traded a look. Name? Jack asked. Ty's voice was flat. Kane Rusk, private security. Dalton's off-book muscle. Mia blew out a breath. This is enough to trigger internal affairs and a police hold on any officer-related transfer. He can't move her now. Jack nodded once. Then we deliver this. Everywhere. Switch uploaded the clip to 3 separate clouds, a locked folder for hospital counsel, and an encrypted drive in Pastor Ben's briefcase. Redundancy on redundancy. They all stood for a moment in the quiet hum of the basement, surrounded by pipes and the faint drum of hospital life above. Jack checked his watch. We have guardianship, we have proof. We have a judge on record. 24 hours is now a weapon we use, not dodge. He looked at Lily. You did good today. She looked back at him, steady. We're not done. No, Jack said. We're just getting started. A buzz sounded from Mia's pocket. She glanced at her phone, then up at them, eyes wide. What? Cole asked. Mia swallowed. Admin just got a call. Dalton's not waiting on the transfer anymore. He's calling in child services with an emergency order to take Lily tonight to a preferred group home. Lily's hand went to Cole's sleeve without thinking. Jack's voice went cold and controlled. Preferred by who? Mia's answer was a whisper. By the same charity tied to his friends. The hallway felt smaller. The light felt harsher. Switch closed the micro-recorder and pocketed the empty card. Ty rolled his shoulders once, ready. Jack turned toward the elevator, jaw set. Then we move faster. He took one step, then another, leading them back into the maze of white halls and rules and people who didn't know they were walking through a fight. And across town, in a quiet office with the blinds closed, someone started deleting files. The hospital felt colder the next morning. The Liberty Wolves didn't wear their colors, but everyone knew who they were. They moved in quiet pairs, eyes on every corner. Lily clung to the edge of Cole's jacket as they walked back toward room 714. Rebecca Harper still hadn't woken. Tubes hummed, monitors blinked. A small sign on the door read, "Transfer on hold. Legal review pending." Jack had made sure of that, but he knew Dalton wouldn't stop. Mia joined them with a coffee in hand and exhaustion written across her face. Internal Affairs sent a liaison, she said. But Dalton's people still control security. You don't have long. Switch opened his laptop on a rolling tray. We've got the reflection video, we've got the name of the guy, Kane Rusk, and we've got timestamps. We just need one clean angle that shows his face. Cole nodded. Then we proved the fall was an assault. Jack looked at Ty. Any word from Pastor Ben? He's taking the clip to the courthouse right now. If we get an IA order, Dalton can't come within 50 feet of this floor. Jack exhaled slowly. Let's buy him the time. They set up in the staff lounge as if they belonged there. Switch plugged into the hospital's internal network, fingers flying. Maintenance cams are old, but there's a backup feed stored off-site. Dalton doesn't know about it. Lily leaned closer. Off-site where? City Utilities server downtown, he said. If I tunnel in through the hospital firewall, I can pull it. Jack smirked. Speak English, Switch. It means I can grab it before Dalton wipes it. The cursor blinked. A loading bar crawled. Then, frames appeared. The hallway, dim. Rebecca stumbling backward, a man's hand pushing her. A clear profile this time. Kane Rusk, exactly as Ty described. Got him, Switch whispered. He froze the image, zoomed. He's wearing a hospital badge. Security subcontractor ID 417. Ty clenched his jaw. That's Dalton's off-duty crew. Mia nodded grimly. This is the proof we needed. Jack straightened. Then we deliver it. Quietly. He slipped the flash drive into his pocket just as a voice barked behind them. Nobody move. 2 hospital security guards stood in the doorway. Behind them, Detective Dalton. Dalton's tone was polite, but his eyes were ice. Mr. Rourke, hacking hospital systems? That's a felony. Jack didn't blink. So is forging legal documents. Dalton's gaze slid to Lily. You've made a mess, kid. I can fix it. Just come with me. Cole moved instinctively between them. She's under guardianship now. Dalton laughed. Temporary. I can have that reversed before lunch. Mia stepped forward. Detective, you need to leave. There's an active IA review. Dalton's phone buzzed. He checked the screen, and the smirk vanished. What the hell? Jack smiled. That'll be the IA liaison. Pastor Ben just filed the footage. For the first time, Dalton's mask cracked. You people think you can win a war with paperwork? We don't need a war, Jack said quietly. We just need the truth. Dalton's radio crackled. Detective Dalton, report to administration. Internal Affairs is requesting your presence. He stared at Jack for a long moment, then turned and walked out. The guards followed, looking relieved. The room stayed silent until the elevator doors closed. Then Switch exhaled. He's not done. That call buys us hours, not days. Jack nodded. Then we use them. An hour later, the wolves gathered in the parking lot behind the hospital. Pastor Ben's old sedan rolled in, dust on the bumper. He stepped out holding a manila folder. IA accepted the footage, he said. They froze all transfer orders signed by Dalton. Rebecca stays. Lily's shoulders finally dropped. So we won? Not yet, Jack said. Dalton will find another way. Pastor Ben opened the folder and handed Cole a printout. This is the original birth record. It was sealed 9 years ago by a deputy clerk named Hayes. Hayes disappeared a week after the filing. But look at the notation. Cole read it aloud. Filed by external request. Authorization MD. MD, Mia repeated. Mark Dalton. Jack cursed softly. He's been in this from the beginning. Switch tapped the paper. Means he paid someone to bury paternity records. Lily looked up at Cole. Does that mean you're my dad? Cole crouched so they were eye level. I don't know yet, but I'm not letting him take you. She nodded. Okay. Jack turned to the group. We have proof of assault, proof of fraud, and now motive. But Dalton won't wait for the system to catch up. We need to anticipate his next play. Ty said what everyone thought. He'll come for the evidence. Jack looked at Switch. How many copies? 3 clouds, 1 external drive, 1 USB with Ben. Good, Jack said. Hide 2 more. Different states if you can. Switch grinned faintly. On it. Late afternoon sun stretched long shadows over the hospital parking lot. Jack stood with Mia near the curb, watching Cole and Lily share a vending machine sandwich on the steps. She trusts him already, Mia said softly. He earns it, Jack replied. Every move that man makes, he thinks about her first. Mia folded her arms. You think he's the father? Jack shrugged. Blood or not, he's acting like one. Before she could answer, a low hum buzzed from Switch's tablet. His face drained. What now? Ty asked. Remote activity on my cloud backups, Switch said. Somebody's trying to delete them. Can you stop it? Jack asked. I'm trying, wait. He froze. Too late, too gone. Only the courthouse copy and Pastor Ben's drive left. Mia swore. He's cleaning house. Jack's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. A familiar voice spoke. You think you're clever, Rourke? You think hiding behind children makes you righteous? You can't protect them forever. Jack's voice dropped low. You hurt one more person, I'll see to it every badge in this state knows your name. Dalton laughed softly. Then you'd better hurry. The line clicked dead. Jack pocketed the phone. We move Rebecca tonight. Somewhere safe. Hospital security will never allow that, Mia said. We'll do it right, Jack said. Legal transfer under her new guardian's authority. We don't break the law, we use it. Where to? Ty asked. Jack looked toward the horizon. Pastor Ben's community center has a private recovery room. She'll be under protection there and the court can't call it kidnapping. Mia nodded. I can arrange the medical transport paperwork. Lily looked up. Can I go too? Jack smiled gently. You're coming with us, kid. Night fell fast. By 10, the hospital corridors were half empty. Mia signed the release forms. Switch spoofed the digital log to prevent alerts. Cole wheeled Rebecca's bed through the service elevator. The hum of the wheels echoed in the narrow hallways. Lily walked beside her mother, clutching the edge of the sheet. Outside, 2 black SUVs rolled slowly down the street, lights off. Ty's voice came through the earpiece. We've got company. Dalton? Jack asked. Can't tell yet, but they're coordinated. Jack signaled the team to move faster. They reached the back entrance just as one SUV turned into the alley. Switch popped the gate lock. Go! Cole pushed the gurney onto the lift. Lily climbed in beside Rebecca. Jack swung the doors closed as headlights washed over the loading dock. Engines roared, tires screeched. A security guard stepped out shouting, Hey, you can't. Ty flashed the hospital's own signed transfer order. Yes, we can. The guard hesitated, looked at the paper, then waved them through. The van accelerated into the night. Inside, Lily held her mother's hand. She's breathing, she whispered. Cole nodded, eyes on the road. She's strong. She'll wake up soon. From the passenger seat, Jack checked the mirrors. 2 black SUVs followed a block back, headlights still off. They're tailing us, he said. Switch's laptop glowed faint blue. I can trigger the traffic cameras to loop. If they follow too far, they'll vanish from the grid. Do it, Jack said. Mia looked over from the rear bench. Where exactly are we taking her? Jack's answer was steady. To the one place Dalton won't dare raid while IA is watching, Ben's church basement. It's private property and under surveillance by half the neighborhood. Ty's voice crackled over comms. Roadblock ahead, construction zone. We need an alternate. Turn right on Franklin, Switch said, fingers moving fast. It's clear. Cole turned. The SUVs missed the turn, overshooting into traffic. Jack let out a slow breath. We're clear for now. They reached the community center just after midnight. Pastor Ben waited under the awning, lights low, doors open. Inside, the air smelled of coffee and engine oil. The wolves' kind of sanctuary. Rebecca was settled into the small infirmary room. Monitors hooked up, IV running smooth. Mia double-checked everything, then stepped back. She's stable, she said. Let her rest. Lily sat beside the bed, fingers wrapped around her mother's. Her voice was barely a whisper. We did it, Mom. Jack leaned against the doorway. You did it, kid. Cole stood beside him, silent, watching the steady rise and fall of Rebecca's chest. Jack looked at him. When she wakes up, she'll have questions. Cole nodded. So do I. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance, thick, heavy, promising trouble. Switch closed his laptop. IA froze Dalton's accounts, but the group home he's tied to still operates. They moved 3 kids out tonight. Jack's jaw set. Then tomorrow we go there. He glanced back into the room where Lily had finally fallen asleep, head resting on her mother's arm. We end this, he said quietly. Rain tapped the windows of Pastor Ben's community center as dawn crept in. Inside, the wolves huddled around a folding table littered with coffee cups and papers. Rebecca slept in the small infirmary. Lily hadn't left her side all night. Jack traced a map with his finger. Internal Affairs froze Dalton's transfer orders. That's the good part. But the Pecan Street group home still runs. 3 kids moved last night. Switch pulled up blueprints on his laptop. House looks normal. Porch, cameras, fake smiles. But there's a sub-basement added last year. Not on city records. Ty frowned. Hidden rooms in a foster home, never good news. Pastor Ben said softly, "We visit. Peacefully. No breaking, no shouting. A reporter comes as a witness." Jack nodded. "We go legal and loud enough they can't bury us." Cole appeared in the doorway, Lily at his side wearing a denim jacket 2 sizes too big. "She wants to come," he said. Jack crouched to eye level with her. "Stay with Pastor Ben and the nurse. You're our reason, not our backup." Lily nodded. "Bring the truth back." The Wolves and Pastor Ben arrived at Suri, Safe Harbor Children's House. By mid-morning, white porch, hand-painted sign, perfect smile hiding rot. Asha Patel from the Herald met them outside, small camera on her collar. She shook Ben's hand. "Common areas only, no kids' faces," she promised. The house manager opened the door with a frozen grin. "Quick tour, 10 minutes." Inside smelled of bleach and fear. Posters about kindness couldn't hide the hollow quiet. Jack counted too many locks, too few staff. "Where's the East Wing?" Ty asked. "Closed for repairs." "Then why's it warm?" Switch murmured, eyeing a glowing thermostat. Asha jotted notes while Ben asked for intake logs. The manager hesitated, fetched a drawer of perfect files. 2 new, all same handwriting. "Transfer to relatives?" Ben read aloud. "No addresses." The woman's smile cracked. "Paperwork's delayed." Jack opened a side door. Empty beds lined the walls. Too clean, no toys, no clothes. "Where's everyone?" Asha asked. "School trip," the manager said. "It's Thursday," Jack replied. Silence. Switch slipped into a hallway, camera low. He found a door with a keypad. "What's this?" "Storage," she said quickly. "Then open it." "No key." Ben nodded to Asha. "Note that." They descended to the basement after she finally relented. Concrete floor, fresh paint, drains in the corners, no toys, no reason. Asha turned off her camera out of respect, but her eyes were hard. "You keep kids here?" The manager stammered. "Temporary holding when we're full." "Illegal," Ben said. Before she could answer, a voice echoed down the stairwell. "State liaison, step back." A navy-coated investigator entered with 2 officers. She surveyed the room once, lifted her radio. Site hold initiated. The manager slumped into a chair. Upstairs, children's voices whispered confusion. Jack turned to Ty. "We're done. Let the state handle it." Switch's phone buzzed. His face paled. Rusk's face just hit our security camera at the center. Cole's chair scraped the floor. "Lily." Rain blurred the streets as they sped across town. Jack called Mia. "He's outside," she said, staring straight into the camera. "Lock everything," Jack ordered. "Don't let him near Lily." They reached the community center minutes later. The front door hung open, water tracked across the tile. "Inside, careful," Jack said. They cleared each room. Rebecca, safe. Lily's chair, empty. The small paper bag she'd labeled more hope. Gone. Cole's stomach twisted. "Lily." Switch rushed to the security feed. The screen flickered to life. Rain, sidewalk, Rusk's scarred face. He leaned close to the camera, tapped the lens once, and mouthed a word. "Sealed." Then the feed jumped. 10 seconds later, Lily appeared with Mia's umbrella returning from the pharmacy. Rusk spoke to her, quiet, casual. Lily shook her head, clutching the bag. He said something else. She froze. Switch enhanced the audio. "Your mom's awake. She said your father's name." Cole's fists clenched. "He's baiting her." Jack leaned closer. "Watch her feet. She's facing the door, not him." Lily stepped back inside. The feed cut. "He's testing boundaries," Ty said. "Next time he won't talk first." Switch checked city maps. That utility jacket, he ducked into a side building connected to underground tunnels. "There's an access grate under our boiler room." They ran downstairs. The grate was bolted, 3 rusted screws and 1 bright new one. "He's been here," Ty said. "Or coming back," Jack replied. "We call it in now." Ben contacted the liaison. Police dispatch confirmed a patrol on the way. Then Mia's voice crackled through the intercom upstairs. "Jack, CPS just arrived. They have an emergency order to take Lily." Cole froze. "What?" "They said it's signed by Dalton's supervisor," she said. "Effective immediately." Jack's jaw tightened. "We have Judge Keating's guardianship. They claim this overrides it." Cole headed for the stairs. "He's pulling strings faster than we can cut them." "Then we appeal," Jack said. "By the book." He turned to Ty. "Stay here in the basement. If anyone uses that tunnel, stop them." To switch. "Mirror every camera. We document everything." Then he climbed after Cole toward the infirmary. At the top of the stairs, 2 CPS workers stood in the hallway, gray coats damp from the rain, folders stamped. Emergency. Lily stood small but steady beside her mother's door. Cole reached her side. "Do I have to go?" she whispered. "Not if the law tells the truth," he said. Jack stepped between them and the workers, phone to his ear, calling the courthouse. "This is Jack Rourke. Tell Judge Keating Dalton's people just tried to override her guardianship order." The taller worker lifted the paper with shaking hands. "Sir, we're just following directives." "Then read the signature," Jack said. "If it says Mark Dalton, you're part of his cover-up." The woman glanced down. Her face drained of color. "We'll need to verify this." "Good choice," Jack said. Behind him, thunder rattled the windows. In the basement, Ty heard the first clang of metal against metal. Someone testing the grate. Jack didn't look away from the CPS agents. "You can try to move the kid, but not tonight." Lily clutched his arm. "What happens now?" He met her eyes. "Now we make the truth louder than his lies." The CPS agents exchanged a glance, stepped back toward the door and radioed for confirmation. Jack's phone rang again, Judge Keating's clerk this time. "We're aware," the clerk said. "Hold position. The judge is issuing a stay order now." Outside, sirens wailed closer. Internal affairs and patrol units heading for the center. Jack exhaled once. "Steady." "Then it's official. We just bought time." He turned to Cole. "Get Lily somewhere safe." "Where?" Cole asked. Jack's gaze went toward the basement. "Anywhere that grate doesn't lead." Rain still poured over the city when the patrol cars left. The community center lights glowed through the storm, turning the parking lot into a reflection of blue and red flashes. Inside, everyone felt the weight of the night. Lily sat wrapped in a blanket on the infirmary couch, the small paper bag labeled "Hope" clutched in her lap. Cole knelt in front of her. "You okay, kiddo?" She nodded slowly. "They almost took me." "But they didn't," he said. "You're safe now." Jack walked in, soaked from arguing outside with the officers. "Judge Keating's stay order is confirmed. No one touches this kid or her mother until the court says so." Mia handed him a towel. "What about Dalton?" "He's off duty pending investigation," Jack said. "But that just means he's desperate and dangerous." Switch closed his laptop with a sigh. IA froze his accounts and his badge. If he acts now, it's personal. Ty leaned on the doorframe. Then it's time to hit back with law, not fists. Morning came gray and heavy. Rebecca stirred for the first time, eyelids fluttering. Her voice was a rasp. "Lily?" The girl was at her side in an instant. "I'm here, Mom." Rebecca blinked, confused. "Where are we?" "At Pastor Ben's," Mia said. "You're safe. The wolves found you." Rebecca looked around the small room, her gaze settling on Cole. "You." He froze. "Me?" Her hand trembled as she reached for the chain around Lily's neck. "That dog tag, where did you get it?" Lily held it out. "Mom said it belonged to my dad." Rebecca's eyes filled. "He left it the night I ran. I thought it was lost." Cole lifted his shirt slightly. There, hanging from his own chain, was the other half, edges jagged where it had broken years ago. The two pieces fit perfectly. For a second, no one breathed. Rebecca's voice broke. "You came to see me at the hospital 9 years ago. You brought flowers, you didn't ask questions, you just told me to be safe." Cole swallowed. "You disappeared. I looked for you, but Dalton's name kept showing up on every door." She nodded weakly. "He told me you'd gone back to the army. He said you wanted nothing to do with me or the baby." Mia's eyes flashed. "He forged everything, from paternity to the medical files." Jack stepped closer. "We can fix this. We've got the judge, IA, and the reporter on our side, but we need the final piece, proof of his link to that group home." Switch tapped his keyboard. "Already working on it. The home's financial logs show consulting payments from a detective account under initials MD. I just need the last transfer confirmation." Pastor Ben entered holding a small envelope. "Judge Keating wants a formal guardianship hearing today. If Rebecca can testify, Cole can get full legal custody." Rebecca's voice was faint but determined. "Then take me there." Jack frowned. "You're barely stable." She looked at Lily. "I've been running for 9 years. I'm done running." They moved her carefully into the van. Rain had softened into mist. The courthouse looked gray and quiet, but inside tension buzzed like power lines. Dalton was there. Not in uniform, but waiting. Pressed suit, fake calm. "Ms. Harper," he said with a smirk, "you should be resting." Rebecca's answer was steady. "I'm tired of resting while you ruin lives." The bailiff opened the door. "Family Court, Case 23-421, Guardianship Hearing." Inside, the room was small. Just the judge, the parties, and silence. Judge Keating adjusted her glasses. "Ms. Harper, are you well enough to testify?" "I am," Rebecca said. "Detective Dalton falsified my transfer orders and my medical paperwork. He threatened me for years." Dalton's attorney rose. "Objection. No proof." Mia handed the clerk a USB. "Video from hospital maintenance cam shows Dalton's hired guard Kane Rusk assaulting Ms. Harper." Keating reviewed the footage in silence. When it ended, she turned to Dalton. "Do you deny this man works for you?" Dalton hesitated too long. Jack said quietly, "Lying to a judge isn't a traffic ticket." The judge continued, "I am granting temporary guardianship to Mr. Cole Maddox with immediate review for permanent custody upon paternity confirmation." Dalton's voice cracked. "You can't do that." "I can," Keating interrupted, "and I will. Detective, you're suspended from all child service interactions effective immediately." The gavel came down once, sharp as thunder. Lily's eyes filled with tears. "So, we're a family now?" Cole smiled through his own. "We always were." Outside the courtroom, reporters clustered near the steps. Asha Patel raised her camera, catching a single image. Rebecca leaning against Cole's shoulder, Lily between them, the two halves of the dog tag glinting under gray light. Switch's phone buzzed again. He glanced at the screen. Dalton's group home accounts just went dark. Someone's trying to erase data again. "Backup?" Jack asked. "Safe. Uploaded to 4 locations. They can't kill it all." Ty checked his watch. "Then what's his move now?" Jack's phone rang before he could answer. Pastor Ben handed it over, an anonymous number. Jack answered. "Rourke." A distorted voice hissed, "You think it's over? Check your garage." Jack froze. "Switch, security feed now." Switch pulled up the garage cam. Static, then flame. The screen filled with fire, consuming the small workshop where their mirrored drives were stored. "Explosion," Switch said quietly. "He found the backups." Cole turned, panic flooding his face. "Lily's not with us." "She stayed with Mia at the diner next door." Jack barked, "Move, now." They sprinted across the street. Through the diner window, Mia and Lily sat at a corner booth, until a man in a dark jacket stepped between them and the door. Kane Rusk. He turned his head, saw them through the glass, and grinned. "Get down," Jack shouted. Rusk bolted toward the back exit, dragging Lily by the arm. Cole didn't wait for permission. He crashed through the door, splinters flying. "Let her go." Rusk shoved a chair, blocking him. "Stay out of this, soldier. You had your chance 9 years ago." "You made sure I didn't," Cole growled. Lily twisted, biting Rusk's hand. He yelled and dropped her. Cole tackled him to the ground. They fought hard, raw, no words. Jack and Ty reached them seconds later, pinning Rusk as police sirens blared. When the officers arrived, Jack lifted his hands. "Calm. He's all yours. Check his sleeve for Dalton's payment chip." One cop pulled a small flash drive from Rusk's pocket. Switch smiled grimly. "Guess who's finally careless?" Back at the community center that night, quiet returned. The wolves fixed the broken door. Lily slept curled up between her mom and a stuffed bear someone had left on the bed. Cole stood by the window looking out into the rain. Jack joined him. "She's yours," Jack said. "DNA or not?" Cole nodded. "We'll know soon." Jack clapped his shoulder. "And when you do, don't disappear again. The kid's got more fight than half the men I know." Cole smiled faintly. "She gets it from her mother." Outside, police lights flickered one last time as Rusk's car was towed away. Inside, 2 halves of a dog tag rested together on the nightstand, shining under the faint glow of the lamp. The night after the diner fight was the first one that felt almost normal. The rain slowed. The city took a breath. At the community center, Lily slept with one hand on the dog tag halves, the other on Rebecca's sleeve. Cole watched the rise and fall of their breathing until his shoulders finally loosened. Jack slipped into the room, voice low. "Rusk is in custody. IA has him in a separate hold. He'll talk." Cole nodded. "He already did." Jack raised an eyebrow. "On the way in, he told the booking officer he wanted a deal," Cole said. "Said he has proof Dalton paid him through the group home charity. He named 2 board members." Jack exhaled. "Good. We move at sunrise." Sun came pale and watery over a city that had stayed up too late. Mia checked Rebecca's vitals and smiled. "Stronger." Rebecca reached for Lily's cheek. "Hey, brave girl." "Hey, brave mom," Lily answered, smiling for real this time. Pastor Ben entered with a small stack of papers. 2 updates. First, Judge Keating set a final review for guardianship this afternoon pending one last document. He lifted the top page. Second, the lab called. DNA is ready. The room went very quiet. Cole's hand, so steady in a fight, trembled. Rebecca looked at him. "You don't have to be afraid." "I'm not," he said. "I just want the truth." Mia said, "Let's go get it." The lab was a plain office with pale walls and a humming printer. A technician checked their IDs twice, then handed Cole a sealed envelope. His name and Lily's were printed on the front. He looked at Lily. "You open it." She took a breath, slid a finger under the seal, and unfolded the single sheet. Her lips moved as she read, then she looked up, eyes wet and bright. "Cole Maddox," she said, voice steady. "Probability of paternity, 99.97%. Cole didn't seem to breathe for a full second. Then he exhaled a laugh that broke into a choked sound and dropped to one knee. Lily threw her arms around his neck. The dog tag halves knocked together softly. Rebecca cupped a hand over her mouth, tears running without shame. Mia wiped at her eyes and pretended it was dust. "I'm your dad," Cole whispered into Lily's hair. "I am your dad." "You always were," she whispered back. They didn't celebrate. Not yet. Jack's phone buzzed with the next step. "Asha," he said, answering. "You got something?" Her voice came tight but excited. Rusk sang. IA audio has him stating Dalton paid him per incident and used the charity as a laundering path. Also, get this. Bank camera caught Dalton's supervisor withdrawing cash in the exact amount of last month's consulting fee. Timestamp matches the group home books. "Enough for warrants?" Jack asked. "Task force is gearing up," Asha said. "They want you off-site to avoid claims of vigilantism." "Deal," Jack said. He hung up and faced the room. It's happening. Pastor Ben nodded. Then let's make sure the kids come first. By noon, the task force swarmed the Pecan Street home and 3 board members' offices. The Navy Jacket liaison led, calm and relentless. Asha filmed exteriors and recorded statements from neighbors who had seen late-night vans and children shuffled in silence. At the community center, the wolves didn't move. They waited. They answered calls. They kept the doors open for families who wanted to help. A line of volunteers formed without anyone asking, arms full of blankets, hot food, and quiet resolve. In mid-afternoon, the liaison called Jack. House secured, kids safe, records seized, 2 board members under arrest. Dalton is in custody. Jack closed his eyes. How many kids? 47, she said. All placed in temporary foster with vetted families or relatives tonight. He looked at Lily and Rebecca. That's the number we needed. Family court at 4 o'clock felt different from the day before. The courtroom was the same size, the walls the same dull color, but the air itself seemed lighter. Judge Keating looked over her glasses. Ms. Harper, Mr. Maddox, the court has reviewed new evidence and the DNA results. She nodded at the clerk, who stamped and slid 2 orders across the desk. Paternity confirmed, the judge said. The court recognizes Mr. Maddox as Lily Harper's biological father, with Ms. Harper's consent. I am granting shared legal custody, with primary physical custody to Ms. Harper during her recovery and joint decision-making thereafter. The court finds the previous attempt to override guardianship improper and refers that matter to Internal Affairs and the Attorney General. Dalton's lawyer tried to speak. The judge lifted a hand. Sit down. She faced Lily. Young lady, do you have anything you want to tell the court? Lily stood, small and serious. I want to live with my mom and my dad. And I want the other kids to be safe too. The judge's mouth softened. That is the kind of order I like to sign. She tapped the gavel once. So ordered. Rebecca squeezed Lily's hand. Cole blinked fast and failed to stop another tear. Jack looked at the ceiling like he didn't trust his own eyes. Outside the courthouse, Asha kept her distance and filmed 1 shot. 3 figures walking down the steps. Mother, father, daughter. No sound, just the truth. They didn't throw a party. They worked. That evening, the wolves turned Pastor Ben's parking lot into a repair bay. Jack ran logistics. Ty triaged donated bikes. Switch set up a small table where kids could build simple wooden kits with screws and glue. Mia organized a closet into a real supply room with labels and lists. Lily wore a small vest Pastor Ben had kept in a box for years. No colors, no rank. Just 1 stitched word over the heart. Protected. Not princess? Lily asked. Not you, Jack said. You're something else. The dog tag halves rested against her vest, the metal warm from skin. She tucked the hope bag into a cabinet beside the bed in the infirmary, now clean and quiet. Inside the bag sat a cheap card and a small stuffed wolf she'd bought at the pharmacy. She set the wolf by her mom's pillow. Cole found Rebecca standing at the door, watching Lily. You okay? I am, she said. I keep waiting to wake up. You won't, he said, but you will sleep. I'll see to that. She smiled at him, tired and real. Stay. I will, he said. I'm done disappearing. Just before 9, the task force liaison arrived at the center. She handed Jack a thumb drive and a formal thanks. Internal Affairs will take it from here. You kept a lot of people from doing something stupid today. Jack grinned. We try. She looked at Lily. Your shot at the diner was brave, she said gently. Your choice not to take another one was braver. Lily shifted. I don't like shooting, I like stopping bad things. That's the job, the liaison said. You did it well. She left. The lot echoed with quiet voices and the clink of tools. Pastor Ben flipped on the old floodlight above the garage door. The wolves emblem on the wall, just a stencil of a wolf head, glowed simple and not at all threatening. For once, nobody crossed the street to avoid them. Asha walked up with a camera bag slung over one arm. Publishing tonight. Not a hit piece. Just facts. The kids deserve that. Thank you, Rebecca said. Asha smiled. You three already gave them what they needed most. Proof it can be better. She looked at the small vest on Lily and laughed softly. Protected. That's a good patch. It's a promise, Jack said. And promises here, Asha replied, seemed to stick. Later, when the volunteers had gone and the tools were back on their hooks, the wolves gathered in the common room. Someone made coffee. Someone else tuned the old radio until a song about second chances came in clear. Lily sat on a stool beside a workbench, swinging her feet. She glanced at the dog tag halves and then at Cole. Do we have to make them one piece again? She asked. Cole considered. We could, but I like them joined on the same chain. Two halves, one story. She nodded like that made perfect sense. Can we keep them on the wall when I'm not wearing them? Jack chuckled. A shrine already? A reminder, Lily said. Like the plaque we're going to make. What plaque? Ty asked. The one that says what happened, she answered simply. So nobody forgets. Jack and Ty traded a look that said the kid was right. Switch opened his laptop and started a template. Rebecca leaned against Cole's shoulder, tired lines soft around her mouth. What will it say? Lily thought. Something like, the night we stopped being scared. Cole kissed the top of her head. Works for me. The front door buzzer sounded once. Late. Unusual. Jack motioned for quiet, stepped to the intercom. Centers closed. A voice came thin through the speaker. I'm not here for help. I'm here for truth. Jack frowned, hit the release. A woman stepped in, mid-40s, raincoat, eyes a map of sleepless years. She clutched a thick envelope to her chest. Pastor Ben met her halfway. Ma'am? She swallowed. My name is Allison Hayes. She looked at Rebecca. I signed your record 9 years ago. The room shifted. Even the radio seemed to lower its volume. I sealed the paternity file, Hayes said, shame in every word. Under threat. A detective stood over me while I stamped it. I ran the next week. I've been running ever since. Rebecca's jaw tightened. Why come now? Because I saw the news, Hayes said to Asha, who had quietly raised her camera and then just as quietly lowered it again. Because I kept something I shouldn't have. And because there's one more thing you haven't found. She held out the envelope. Jack didn't take it. He looked at Cole and Rebecca. Your call. Rebecca stepped forward, hand steady. She accepted the envelope, felt its weight, then handed it to Lily. It's your story, she said softly. You open it. Lily slid a finger under the flap and pulled out old forms, a faded photo, and a small key taped to an index card. On the card, a locker number at North River Station. What's in the locker? Lily asked. Hayes' voice broke. The file the detective wanted most. Silence fell again, full and alive. Jack looked around the room, at the wolves, at Pastor Ben, at Mia, at Asha, at a mother and a father and a girl with a chain of 2 halves around her neck. He smiled, just a little. Looks like the story isn't over. Lily grinned back, brave and bright. Good, she said. I like good sequels. Cole laughed. Rebecca did too, and the sound of it filled the room like light. Outside, the rain finally stopped. Inside, the wolves kept their promise, shoulders squared toward whatever the envelope would ask them to face next. And above the workbench, the dog tags hung together, 2 pieces, 1 answer, shining against a wall that now felt like home.